Hey guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. It is Wednesday, March the 17th, and this is what we covered for today. So for an introduction, I asked this question. If you had an employee that had been with your company for over 20 years and wanted to retire, what incentives would you offer him or her to encourage them to stay? You could offer them, better benefits packages. You could send them on vacation maybe once a week, a year. You can make them a partner within your company. You could allow them to work remotely, maybe half a week. You could reduce their hours, maybe ask them if they want to be part-time. So there's a lot of things that you can do to encourage people to stay on with your company. So today we actually started a brand new objective. If I can get to the top. There we go. All right, so brand new objective 2.01. And this is all about staffing. So that you're making your dream team, staffing 2.02, excuse me, not 201. All right, so we're going to look at the importance of the staffing function and also look at how we develop our human resources department to hire and retain good quality employees. All right, so just remember that people can make or break your business. Your businesses depend on your people, your employees' success. So staffing, remember, it's one of the 5 functions of management. Staffing makes sure that a business has the right people in the right positions at the right times. It's a critical aspect of any company. So just a little recap on your 5 functions of management. Remember, planning is all about setting your goals and how in the world are we going to reach and meet our goals. Step 2 is getting your employees that are currently with you together, grouping your task into similar areas, and then also deciding on who's going to be in charge. Are we going to have managers? And then what are our employees exactly going to do? Here's staffing. This is when you're actually hiring brand new people, figuring out what positions we need to hire for, setting job descriptions, doing the interview process, and then hiring new employees to aid in the success of your business. Next, we actually do the work. And then you look at their performance. How are your employees doing? What do they need to do better? Do we need to give them additional training? What do we need to do as a whole to improve our performance? Now, with staffing, it is continuous. You're always hiring, you're always laying off, you're always firing, you're always, having employees that are retiring. They may transfer to different positions. You can promote them, and then you want to keep high quality employees. This makes sure that you make sure that you are maximizing your efficiency in your company and that your employees are productive. Make sure you give them additional training and continue their education to make sure that they're qualified on new computer software and new technology. And then just remember that staffing just make sure that you keep your most valuable assets, which are your employees. We're going to watch a short video on a business owner, and he talks about what he looks for in his applicants.
So Neil, when you do your hiring, what do you look for in a good employee and how do you interview that person?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I look for a lot of things. So first off, during the interview process, I don't just interview people being like, hey, what do you think value you can add to the company and why do you want to work here? I first look at their previous employment. What did you do there? What were the results? Why are you leaving? Right? They have to have a good concrete reason. It can't just be like, oh, I'm looking for more money. I'm not saying we won't pay people more money. I'm just saying they have to have a good reason, like, oh, I'm not learning enough, or, oh, something wasn't promised that I was being got, right? Like, they have a good reason to leaving. And the reason I say that is anytime you guys are hiring, if you're not hiring people, if you're hiring people who just keep leaving jobs, they're considered like hoppers, they're gonna end up working for you and then they're gonna go away. But if you hire people who stick around from previous companies, like they stay there for years, they're much more likely to stick around with your business. You're not gonna have to keep replacing. It's very expensive to continue to hire new people for the same role. In addition to that, you wanna make sure that that person can produce. So I ask them, hey, if you were doing this role within my company, what would you do? And I'm not looking for overall arching strategies. I'm looking for specific tactics. There's a lot of people who can read, but there's very few people who can actually implement. I'm looking for executors. Then I want references of their old employers. Of course, if they have a current job, I can't call their current boss, but I would call all their previous ones. And I tell them, I'm really gonna call them because we really do. And we do reference checks. And it'll be funny because most people think like, oh, no one does reference checks. We do reference checks and we actually find out about the person. And you'll learn a lot of interesting things such as their weaknesses, their strengths. You don't go ask a former employer, hey, what do you think about this person? Should I hire him? Most times they lie or they won't tell you the truth. We try to find out what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what do you see them as their ideal role within an organization? Things that are more actionable so that way we know where they fit in. And then we also have other people on the team ideally interview them for a cultural fit. Because if someone's not a cultural fit, even if they're amazing talent, they're willing to take the pay that you're offering, you think they'll do well, but if they're not a cultural fit, they're going to ruin the company atmosphere and they're not going to last long. That is one of the most important things that people take for granted. But that's our process for hiring. And it takes roughly 30 days from when we interview someone before they start, because 2 weeks notice, have to go through the checks and the balances, multiple people within an organization you interview, but that's how we hire people.
All right, so I love that guy. Just to give you guys some insight on the hiring process, and if you really want to hire good quality employees, he gave you some great suggestions on getting those people in place for your company. Be sure you go into Canvas, do your exit ticket for today, and you'll be working with your partners with your interview, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.